together. Alright, so I've done a bunch of this epoxy, filled the nail holes, the cracks and everything. And now what I'm doing is I'm going through and sanding it. If you look, you can see the shiny. And it comes off real easy, but you want to wear a mask. You want to breathe it. So that's already good. And this is going to be sanded down with finer grit later. So right now it's rough, but at least we got all the epoxy off. And it looks good. One, two, three, four, 5 pieces there clamped together and glued. These biscuits. So this one's a longer one. I'm gonna glue this one up separate, and then we'll clamp them all together later on. Clap these tight, and then I'll wipe that glue off, and then I'll do one more on the top. I like to wipe the glue up because it takes it forever to sand. It's really turning out good. Okay, good. Yeah. So there's the two sides. Let it set up for a while. So this is the fun part. Ignore all these lines. Just this very outside one is going to be where you stand when you're washing dishes in the sink. So we want it to come out to here. So that's the next step. This is my straight edge, the green side, and I have some clamps. And then what I do is I have this is the measurement for the saw. So that's the width of the saw. And I checked this many times for since I can't clamp the middle down, I'll hold this with my hand, put some pressure on it. So windy out here. Straight as a bead. Beautiful. I'm gonna mark, this is what I use right here. Holy moly, that looks so good. So I use this, I don't even know if I think it's called a compass. This last little piece I'll show because I gotta cut this to match this over here. All right, what I do is you keep this metal part lined up with those back wall with this part here. Flush to it, and then just scribe it. Do a couple times to make sure. And I'm gonna go do this next, just like I did the last one. That's all she wrote, man. Beautiful. So I still have these 3 right here, okay? So there's one solid one here. There's a seam. There's a second seam. So this is one solid piece. So 1, 2, 3. So I still have to join these two together and these two together. But that'll be for later, because what I want to do next is sand it real good first and then oil it. And I'll probably do this last, because then I can at least take them outside and do 3 sections at a time. I might try to put these two together at once, so I have 2 pieces. But there'll be a little sanding in the end in the house, unfortunately. All right, look at this, man. This is so nice. So I have to sand this one down still, but we're gonna go and sand it real good still. I did a real good rough sand so far. Got all of the epoxy sanded down except for that piece and that one right here. And there's gonna be a few more that I have to fill in. And then when I join these, I might end up having to epoxy those 2 later. So, and then I gotta sand all this, but look at this, look how good that looks. Holy cow. Now, honestly, it would have been difficult, but much easier if I would have made one big one like this and had it go this way, this length. But I didn't want to, because I thought it would look better to put a little extra work into it and then make it the way I wanted. And that is all going in the same direction like that. Instead of having this one here and then this one there, which most people do that. I just thought, hey, why don't I just do it right? I still have a few more things going on here, and that is I cut these boards and I'm gonna put them on the edges, right on the edges, all the way around. So I think that'll look really good. And you know, because, I mean, even though this looks cool, like seeing all these coming toward you, I thought it'd be nice to have a long piece here instead. And then I can router it or whatever, do some nice details. I used some little strips of wood here with some hot glue just to make sure I can find out where to cut the hole. And then I traced the outside of it. So I'm gonna lift it up now and see what it looks like. Okay, there it is. Okay, that's the back, so let me see. So I'll take some time with this one, but pretty cool. Okay, I actually made a different one here. Just used like some cardboard. And the reason I did this is because I could cut this with scissors on the inside and the out. So I pretty much figured with the other one, the distance is safe at about that distance. So I traced this line around that. When I had it on there, I traced it around the outside. And then I made this on the inside with this compass. So I'm gonna cut out the inside and the outside. I'm gonna cut this here piece of wood to use as a wedge for a custom clamp. All right, so here's my jig I used. I put this board on here so the weight could go against it with a couple screws. I put this here so I have something to put this thingy on. So when I hammer this and it pushes, it won't ruin this wood. But then I realized that these stick out so far. So I cut these down on the corners, and I made that. So when I hit this, hopefully, you know, it can go quite a bit. That should be plenty. So I'll cut this one down over here too, and then I'll put it on that side.
I'm filming you.
I just glued that up, and now that I know exactly where I want this board to be, I'll put this on the end to keep it from moving. And then I'll go up there and I'll work those man-made clamps I just built. So let me get this in, and that's gonna keep it from moving. Come up here. This is where the joint is I glued. You can see a little glue coming through. Looks like that's pretty darn lined up. Right there, okay? And so these are the ones I built. This is awesome. Ready? We're gonna see if see that it's beating up a little bit?
Why are you doing that?
Because this is, I plane these down, but for some reason it's just a touch thicker here than there. So I just want to push this up before I clamp it any tighter. Okay. All right, ready? Look at that, huh? See how it's starting to...
I don't get it. You're hitting that to tighten it?
So you see these two? As they go together, you know, the further it goes up here, the further it's pushing it. Does that make sense?
Oh, it's pushing it back.
Yes,
When you're
squeezing them together. Yeah, I think that's as good as it's gonna get.
Cool.
I'm pretty happy about it too. Move this out of the way now that I got those. Stand on this right here. Yeah. All your weight.
Oh, like stand on it?
All your weight. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Stay there.
Okay.
I think we're good. It's flat. Yeah, it's not going to get any tighter, so we're good. I just went over this with 50 grit sandpaper. Now I'm going to use this 80 grit next. And boy, these belt sanders are awesome. I picked this one up at a pawn store for $5, and it works great. It's a Harbor Freight model. So it looks beautiful. I'm just gonna go through now and fill in a couple holes that I see that I missed from before with epoxy. We'll let that dry. And then I'll go through and do a final sand. And then after that, I can oil it with tung oil. There's not enough room for a fridge and stove unless they're butted up next to each other, so I have to get rid of my cool little nook here on the other side. Okay, so I have the countertops out right now. This part here, there's a seam that has not been glued and screwed yet, but this big piece is good. And then this is all one section. And then, so I have to eventually put this together, but I'm not ready yet because I need to cut the sink out. So I'll take this out of here and do that. And also I'm going to cut this right about to here. So this piece, that way the stove can be pushed over this way and the fridge can go that way. So they're not like completely next to each other. So when it's out this far, the fridge and the stove don't really have a gap between the two. So if I cut it back, I can put a gap, and then I'll use this piece here, about this wide of it, between the two, between the fridge and the stove. So that should be nice. And then, yep, so right now, I'm just doing some measurements and I'm tracing these lines out. And I'm just using the Sharpie so I can see it better when I cut it, because this is a one-time cut. And what I did here, I just used this container and I traced the corners so it can have a little curve. Last one right here. Yeah, buddy. So tomorrow I can cut that. Yep, so it's almost done. Cut this out, make sure, yeah, I think this is good. So the sink will sit overlapped at 1 inch pretty much in the outside of this line. And if it needs to be cut away a little bit more, I can always sand it or whatever to make sure it fits good and snug. Good progress.
Hey there, we'd love for you to check out our newly designed website at journeydowntheroad.com. You can easily search for whatever category or topic you're interested in and read more about our little pine cottage. Get the inside scoop about our story and how we've lived simply in small spaces and how you can too. See how we've also built a handmade home with reclaimed and salvaged materials. Thanks for joining us on this journey.